Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series 2. There's 3 sets of Stadium Series in 2021 in June, July, and August. This is the second one. I did the best of Warrior Wrestling. Check that out on the Robert Sports Show. I did a preview for this show. This is the review of the Stadium Series show for July. We had 9 big matches. We had some really good stuff. We had some okay stuff. First match on the card, we had Casey Navarro versus Dante Martin. Dante Martin, part of AEW. It was a really good match. Kind of that 2 young guys going out there and just no real story behind it. So one thing about independent wrestling, you don't get a lot of story. You get a lot of just spot. Dante Martin getting the victory here. I give it 3 1/4. Next up, we had Leigh Moriarty from Mlw and Kim Changer versus Danhausen from Ring of Honor. Danhausen is kind of this off-the-wall, unique character. He thinks he's like 3 times the size he is. He thinks he's like 3 times better than he actually is. And just his little gimmick that he plays. He's been teaming with PCO in Ring of Honor. Lee Moriarty, he's a former independent wrestling champion. He is beyond wrestling. I've seen him in quite a number of different independent companies. In my opinion, this guy is the next big thing out there. MJF got signed from MLW to AEW 2 years ago. Billy Christian is in NXT, known as Trey Baxter. So there's several of the NXT guys. It's that last group of NXT, part of the breakout tournament that I did a video about NXT Clash. You can check that on our sports show. And Leigh Moriarty kind of, in my opinion, fits into that mold. Kind of that talented guy who can talk, who's got charisma. Just each match he has is a little bit better. Well, this match was good. Dan Hausen supposedly got permission from CM Punk and Kenta to use the GTS. He calls it the GTS Hausen. Everything he does is ins and Hausen. He does the leg lock Hausen. He had a couple submission Hausens on Leigh Moriarty. He used the GTS Hausen and get the victory. I ended up giving it 3 1/4. It was a really good match. Next up, we had Tankman versus Jordan Oliver. Jordan Oliver, Big Breakfast is his nickname. He runs 2 factions on the Indies, Young, Dumb, and Broke. And then at MLW, Injustice. He's kind of right there with Leigh Moriarty. Jordan Oliver, Leigh Moriarty, my kind of 1-2 guys on the Indies right now. Both uber talented. Jordan Oliver, over the last, he's like 23 years old, over the last couple of years. He's tall, lanky kid. He's put a lot of body mass on, a lot of muscle. Kind of like Will Ospreay. And so he's trying to get to that next level. Tankman. Big burly guy, big guy. I'm trying to think who would comparable to Mark Henry size kind of guy, but he can do moonsaults. Uber talented. This was a squash match. It was kind of like unpredictable. I wasn't predicting that at all. Tankman just had his way with Jordan Oliver. Get the victory. I give it 2 1/2. Next up, we had the return match of Davey Richards. He's had like 5 or 6 matches back. I'm so excited he's back in professional wrestling. He went against the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham. This was a good match. This was a mat-based submission, kind of just go out there and wrestle. No high flying, no entertainment type, no spot. Just mat-based wrestling. Jonathan Gresham got the victory by submission. Give it 3 1/2. I enjoyed it. Next up, we had a tag team match. We had Richard Holliday and Victor Benjamin going against the Varsity Blondes. Yes, the Varsity Blondes of AEW fame. They had Julia Hart with them, while Holliday and Benjamin had Lady Frost with them. The Varsity Blondes got the victory. Nice little just back and forth match, 3-star. Lady Frost actually took out Julia Hart at one point. Now, Lady Frost is in the main event for the Warrior Wrestling Women's title. That'll come back to play later. But yeah, I've seen the Varsity Blonde, Brian Pillman Jr., who was a former Warrior Wrestling World Champion. Seeing them back getting the victory was really good. Next up, we had the Warrior Wrestling Lucha title on the line. We had champion Aramis versus Daga. Typical Lucha Libre kind of flop, flop, move, spot, spot, spot. Aramis retaining his title. I give it a 4-star. Great match. If you like the Lucha Libre style, which I do, I've talked about that here more than once. It's a really good match. I mean, a 4-star. Next up, we had Brian Cage, the Machine, former FTW World Champion, versus Ninja Mack. Ninja Mack is all about move, spot, spot, spot. He does so many flips when you don't need to do a flip, just that's the way his gimmick is. I thought it was going to be a squash match, and it really was. It was a good match. Brian Cage is, again, that hyper athlete who can go out there and beat the tar out of you, but he can also wrestle when he needs to. And this match went on for a little bit, but number of false finishes by Ninja Mack can kick out of things. Brian Cage did eventually win the match. I ended up giving it 3-star. Next up, we had a no-holds-barred match. We had Robert Ego Anthony versus the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer. Robert Anthony comes out with Frank the Clown. Frank the Clown is the son-in-law of Mick Foley. So yeah, Robert Ego Anthony, talented guy. He's got the look. He's got the personality. He could be something special. But Lance Archer just beat that tar out of him. And of course, being no-holds-barred, it went all over the football field. Field, the stands. It actually went longer than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be just a complete 100% squash. Archer did end up getting the victory and they've given it 2 3/4. Next up, we had the Warrior Wrestling World Women's Championship on the line. We had champion Kylie defending the title versus Lady Frost. Now, before I get to this match, of the 9 matches here, for my preview, I picked 7 and 9. So, of the 18 matches of the 2 shows today, Warrior Wrestling and Summerversary, I was 13 for 18. I thought that was pretty good. And so, we had Lady Frost versus Kylie Ray. Good match, Lady Frost. She had several spots where it's like, ooh, she might actually win the title here. She actually is wrestling in Impact Wrestling and AEW. So that forbidden door is kind of there. Kylie Ray ended up getting to retain, but the guys that Lady Frost hangs out with, Richard Holliday and Victor Benjamin, they got involved in the match. There was one spot where Lady Frost kind of distracted the referee. Kylie went to kind of do a flip or something over the rope. They grabbed her. Or she fell off the side of the ring. Victor grabbed her and, threw her ribs in the ring post. And then they put her in front of the ring post, and then Lady Frost drop kicked her and pushed her into it. At the end of it, it was kind of a 3-on-1. Julia Hart and Varsity Blondes came out. They're kind of even things up a little bit. And then that's when Julia Hart took out Lady Frost, decked her. It was great. But yeah, Kylie Ray retaining her Warrior Wrestling Women's title in a 3 1/4-star match. So overall, good showing for Warrior Wrestling. Slammiversary was also good. Check out the review of that. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spooky day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.